Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to Hollywood Handbook, an insider's guide to kicking butt and dropping names in the red carpet line back hallways of this industry we call showbiz.
What up, what up?
People have been saying they've been getting lost when I do it too fast. They say at home, they say, wait a second, hold up?
Yeah.
It's some kind of book?
And people also have been saying that they don't understand that the what up is being said by a demon who haunts the podcast, you know?
People have really not been...
And so that's why
that element of
that
element of the mythology has really been going over
completely
people's heads.
fallen by the wayside. Yeah, and we used to talk about it so much. And go back and listen by Howell.
And
so go ahead. What are you going to say?
Well, I just sort of thought it was obvious. I didn't think it was something we had to talk about.
No, we wouldn't be doing this of our own free will. You know, we only do it because a demon forces us. And why else would we be here? No one listens, and we don't appear to even really enjoy what we're doing half the time. Just grasping around. I feel like Mr. Bean when he went out with no clothes on out of his hotel room and then got locked out and is running around put an exit sign on his rear end and an out of order sign on his wee-wee.
I feel like Mr. Bean when he was trying to put stuffing in the turkey, love stuffing, more and more stuffing, can't have enough, getting very greedy with the stuffing, went so far inside, head stuck. But that's actually a good segue to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Want to talk about. A lot of other people did their Thanksgiving podcast the week before it happened.
Yeah.
We like to do it after.
Cut through the noise.
Mm-hmm. To talk about the stuff that no one else will talk about, like turkey make you sleepy and the science behind that.
If we wear a red shirt on the day everyone has a red shirt on, you don't see us. But if we wait a week until they got the green shirt on, boom, we show up in red. It's like, wait a second, what the fuck is these guys doing? I gotta pay attention. And you do gotta pay attention. Because the truth is that we talk about Thanksgiving, Hayes, and this day that's supposed to be so special.
It's great, right? Everyone sit.
Oh, yeah.
Eat the food,
and the
watch
family,
football, go America.
And it's a lie, and the story's a lie. And as one Native American, it's not Thanksgiving, it's actually thanks-taking and no Thanksgiving. And that's what America did to the true Americans who actually were here living off the land. And the true story, which was passed down by oral tradition, and I've told you many times, is that it wasn't a bunch of white people cooking turkey and saying, "Oh, I'm glad my mommy and daddy gave me all the stuff in the linen sheets."
Because that's what people say it is.
Yes.
They say it's a bunch of white people cooking turkey. This is a story, and they're glad that mommy and daddy give them all the stuff and the linen sheets.
Yes. And that's what Hallmark would have you believe. And I'm sorry, that's not exactly what happened.
There are a lot of, and you've told me this many times, because it's your duty to pass along the oral tradition because you're not allowed to write anything down.
And I'm thankful for this platform. I could write it down because I have the gifts of the white man as well.
But you choose not to because it's against the rules.
Well, we don't see that as a necessary piece of communication. Because also, if you saw Invention of Lying, you know that white man invented lying. And
God was the first lie.
Yes. And that God was the first lie, and if God didn't exist, we'd have to invent him, Voltaire said. So when you watch Invention of Lying, what you'll notice is there is not a lot of Native American chiefs in their headdress lying. Those guys would be honest.
There's a reason they're not in that movie.
You wouldn't come and say, oh, there's a bear over there, and then there isn't one.
Yeah.
Because then you'd be in trouble. And so we would communicate only through oral tradition, and that is because we are saying the truth. And what I'm thankful for today is this platform where I can be oral, and it does get recorded, written down in a way to the listeners.
So let's talk about some of the myths where, for example, people say pilgrims come over on the boat and that it was like a pretty good ratio guys and girls.
And
it was a sausage fest.
It was hard sausage fest. Total sausage party all them dudes was hugging up on each other, and that's fine, but just say that's what you did, you know? People also say, dude didn't smoke cheap, but guess what? They were puffing the kind herbs, and they were getting crazy lifted. So much they couldn't see straight.
And that was the purest kind. It was more pure because it hadn't been infected by GMOs and Monsanto.
Yeah, and parabens. And if you think about, like, some of the shit these dudes come up with, you had to be on dope. Because really look at, like, okay, I'm just going to stack these sticks up together and live under them? That's nuts.
It's like you had to have been tripping, and also to come up with the idea of, like, wearing a hat with a belt on it.
Oh, gosh. Because you don't need to hold your hat up.
That's like what your most fucked up friend would do.
Dude, yeah, it's honestly the equivalent of having a lampshade on your head. So, one myth about the Indian guys, us, is that they're in teepees and they're not chill. Well, actually, they are chill, and actually, yeah, they are in teepees as well.
So part of it, part of it is true, but the pervasive myth is that they're in teepees and they're not chill.
Oh,
those things have always gone hand in hand.
When they're in there, they're being chill. And if you actually stuck your head in a teepee every once in a while instead of sticking your head in a book written by a white man, you might find out that we are chilling in there. And that if we say, oh, you know, be careful when you go outside, there's a bear out there, that we're actually telling the truth. And that's why the story of the boy who cried bear is not about a Native American chill dude. It's about, like, guess what? A Caucasian.
Yet another.
Yeah, have you had enough of them yet?
Yeah.
Here's another story. The mashed potatoes were lumpy at that first one, at the first Thanksgiving. Okay, no.
They were very smooth.
So creamy. So creamy. Because they actually had some milk in them, and they had been mashed down for a long time. Smashed potatoes have lumps. Mashed potatoes are creamy.
And they did, yes. And they did have smashed potatoes as well. The red russet potatoes with the skin on. But the smashed potatoes were a separate dish. So when people say the mashed potatoes were lumpy, that's what makes it mythological.
And here's another thing. When the Sausage Fest landed here, the myth is that you learn in school that a lot of the Indian women, the squaws, didn't have that dynamite coochie blow your mind. When in fact, they did.
It was yanking.
It was.
That's where the idea of, like, Yankees, you know, that's where that term came from.
Yeah.
Because it was yanking.
Yeah. And also, you know, some people think that white people started stealing the property because they wanted to sort of institute this, like, colonial law or whatever that they had learned in Europe or something.
Yeah.
But actually,
fake.
That's total fake. And Columbus, speaking of yanking, saw one freaking Native American dude like me jerking his crank and got real jealous because, let's face it, ladies, we've got big ones. And so one of the big myths that happens is, like, oh, they had, like, these laws and institutions, they were, like, more advanced. It's like, actually, they were just less advanced downstairs and got so mad that they were like, no one else allowed here, I own this now, about, like, a tree.
And to also claim that they invented jerking it.
Oh, yeah, because he also was like, that looks like it would feel good.
When really Native Americans had been jerking it for eons.
Meanwhile, Big Chief Stroking Hog was like, yeah, it looks that way because it is that way, Holmes, and was trying to be cool about it.
What they were doing when they landed to jerk it was just
Plymouth Rock.
Yes, was just what the Pilgrims were doing was just kind of dipping it in a glass of water. That's what they thought,
and just leaving it there.
And they were like, "Oh, we love this. Is awesome.
Oh, it feels
this
good.
feels amazing." Like, but they were just faking because that was like the social mores of the time, and that was actually what they left England to escape.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's so crazy is the whole reason they all got on those boats was because we're only allowed to sort of let it sit in the water, just sort of gently float there. And no one wanted to do that anymore. And also, when you went to someone's house, you never knew if you could take a drink from their glass of water or not. So it was solving a lot of problems that the white man had, and then they don't give credit, and then they also are like, oh, but give thanks, and it's supposedly about all this other stuff or whatever that it's not, and it's not real.
But they said, they went too far in the one direction. They hear about jerking it from the Indians, they start jerking it, but they got a lot of diseases because they stopped dipping their stuff in the water at all.
You still gotta clean it.
You still have to dip it in the water sometimes.
Oh, yeah, and we dip it in the water after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Not every time, but a lot of the time.
What else was fake about that stuff?
Oh, so supposedly, like, the Indians, like, brought a raccoon to dinner and were like, this is what we eat. But actually, no, that was Columbus. He did that. And the Indians, I was like, dude, that's fucked up. Why don't you eat this, like, pig I cooked in this pot?
Mm-hmm.
That's America.
What about the idea that somebody accidentally, one of the white kids at the dinner accidentally invented corn?
Thank you for bringing that up.
Mm-hmm.
No, don't think so. He actually was scared of the corn and was like trying to fight it with a knife.
Mm-hmm. And did eat it for the first time, but that was an accident.
Chopped it because he thought it was a monster coming for him, and then screamed so loud the corn got in his mouth. That's not inventing it. That's just having some of it. The guy who invented it actually was one of my grandfather's good friends. Because we lived for a super long time. And
you become trees.
Yeah. And
you sort of get, your skin turns sort of tree stuff.
Yeah, it
tree
gets
style.
Thick and strong, and we just sort of root into the earth. We dig our little footsies into the dirt until we just sort of can chill there and just be chill like we are in our teepees. And and my grandfather's buddy, chief corn inventor. Yeah, so he did it. And that's why we get to eat the food. So think about that next Thanksgiving when your family's like, hey, are you coming home for Thanksgiving? Be like, no.
What about the rumor that Sacagawea,
I'm
sorry,
is how we say it.
What about the rumor that Sacagawea did like flash everybody for like 1 second?
Yeah.
Just like the quickest flash.
Just gave a quick peek.
On a dare.
Yeah, that happened.
Could you see it? Because a lot of people said that they could see it, but I think it was like too quick.
Yeah, I mean, you could get a sense of it.
It was like this.
Yeah, your mind fills it in afterwards in a way, like what you expected to see. But I don't think you were really going to be able to capture it in any meaningful way from the pure visual, just because it was so fast.
Was it was it that fast? What is your memory of how fast it was?
I guess to sort of verbalize it for everyone, it was
and that's the is the up and the buh is like down, and that was how fast it was.
That just speaks to chillness and actually being cool and just going like, yeah, fuck, I'm having fun. Like, you want to see it here you go, and then like just like, all right, cool, and let's now hand me the pasta spaghetti beans, and that's what we were about back then.